Okay guys, so I've got a really cool one for you. Today we are looking at this rolling engine stand from the Vevor company. Not only is it really cool looking, but it's got some pretty nice features as well. So I want to give a big shout out and a huge thanks to the good folks at Vevor for sending this unit out to me so I can test and review it for you guys today. There will be a link in the description, so if you're interested in one of these, give it a click and see if it's something that might work for you as well. So I really like this. I'm very impressed with it. I can't wait to show you guys around, so let's get started. Okay, so once I ordered this is what showed up at my door. A well-packaged, nicely put together box with no damage, and everything seemed to be in order. As far as the contents go, again, everything was in order. There was nothing missing. Everything was pretty well protected with foam and packaged very nicely. And the nuts and bolts were all in their own little bag, and it even came with a pretty nice little set of instructions with a nice diagram that you could use for assembly. Now, as far as assembly goes, it couldn't have been easier. It mostly just entailed bolting the caster wheels onto the frame rails and then assembling the mounting plate and putting it all together with a couple of large pins. So it couldn't have been easier. And once you get the final product put together, this is what you ended up with. A really great looking engine stand that honestly I think was easy to assemble, that I think anybody could do. Okay guys, so now that this thing's all built and put together, let's take a look at how incredibly nice this thing is to roll around and use. This thing is super handy and convenient. It rolls around, it swivels. It feels like a really nice piece of equipment. I'm really impressed with it, especially at the price point that they're offering this at. I'm just, I'm super impressed with it. So it is really nice looking. It feels really nice. It just is a really nice tool. I think that's going to be a really good addition to my garage and my tool set. So anyway, there are three things about this tool that I think are above and beyond and are really valuable to this kind of application. And first off is its wheels. I'm really impressed with the wheels. They're large, they look really well built, they feel really strong, and they're all casters. I've got 5 caster wheels on this unit, which is way more than I've ever had. My first engine stand I got at a pawn shop for like 25 bucks, and it was just a T. It just had little wheels stuck in here, no casters, just one wheel up there. And it was better at tipping over than it was kind of holding the motor. So that didn't do me any good. That was kind of a waste of money and really quite dangerous, to be honest with you. This is the kind of tool that you can appreciate it when it's built with some girth and some engineering to be safe. And this one I really feel like it is. So the wheels are awesome. I've got 5 wheels and they're all casters. You can't beat that. The ability to build, just move it in and out wherever you need with no or little effort is really nice. The second thing is that 4 of the 5 wheels on this unit have brakes. I've never had anything like that, and I gotta say, that is amazing. To be able to move it into place and lock the brakes is a game changer, because once you get it into a place and you're trying to disassemble or assemble a motor and you want to start wrenching on stuff and cranking on things and tapping on things and moving things around, you don't want the thing rolling around on you. You don't want to have to put wheel chocks under it, or a crescent wrench or something to keep the wheels from rolling. So having brakes is just a really good touch. And the third and final thing that is really cool about this unit is it folds up for storage. Now, I have never had one that did that, and I gotta say, I'm super impressed. This is really cool. Let me show you really quickly how this goes. The 5th wheel in here doesn't hit the ground unless you're using it. I don't think you'd want it to be on the ground, because you don't want to have it high center on something and have you tip over while you're trying to laterally move this thing back and forth. But it comes into play once you pull this pin out, pull the cotter pin, pull the pin out, and then you just pull this unit up just like that. And it's got another higher hole in here where you can stick this guy in here, stick the cotter pin back in it, and the worst thing that'll happen is it'll fall like this. Now, it stays there pretty well by itself like that. The garage has a 2% floor slope, so it stays like this. If you have it even just the 2% going the other way, it wants to fall and lay like that. So not a big deal, but for me, I would just take a simple bungee cord wrapped around the handle, wrapped around one of the bolts, and this is how I will store the thing when I'm not using it. I'm not an engine builder all day, every day of the year kind of thing. I will spend a couple, 3 months building the motor that we're going to look at today, and then it's going to be probably 5 or 6 months until I want to use the thing again, and this is going to be how I store it, and I couldn't be happier. This is really cool. So that's the size of it. I'm super impressed. I just think this is super handy. Look how nice it is to roll around, and I just think it's a great unit. So finally, what I want to do is put a practical test to it, and the engine that you see up here is a mocked up block and bell housing from the motor that I'm getting ready to put together from one of my 64 Corvairs. And I just have it put together like this today just for demonstration purposes, so we can bolt it on here and see how it works and see how it rolls around with a little bit of weight on it. So let me take a few minutes. I will slide this guy out just like any other engine stand. We just pull the pipes out and we take this engine mount block and we block it up or bolt it up to the bell housing, and we'll just stick the whole thing back in and slide it back in and be ready to give this a test. So let me take a couple minutes, I'll bolt this thing up and we'll be back. Okay, so I got this engine all mounted up on the stand. Piece of cake, went just like any other engine stand. I just lined up my arms, put some through bolts through, bolted them on, tightened them down a little bit, and slid it right back into the stand. So piece of cake so far. Looks really cool. I'm really happy to see some progress on my motor. I'm really excited about getting this thing going, and this tool is going to be instrumental in getting this thing going for me and getting it done. So I'm really looking forward to it. This engine stand is going to be a game changer for me. So granted, this is only maybe 100 pounds, and it's got a 1,500 pound limit, and most engines are like 500 or 600 pounds, I'm thinking. So this isn't like a true like workhorse test of this thing, but it's plenty to get a good feel for how safe it is and how it rolls around. Let me show you kind of what we got here. Let me jostle it around. Super safe. Let me just get the top of it. I couldn't probably tilt this thing over if I wanted to. I can rotate it around. No effort. Super nice. Super cool. I love it. Really cool. Now, like any other engine stand, I can just pull the pin out and insert the handle, and let's see if she rotates. Nice and easy, smooth as butter. Now look at that, I can now work on the bottom of the motor, no problem. And coming back around, there's little locking holes like every 20 or 30 degrees. I can put a pin in right here and keep this thing at this angle indefinitely. Work on putting the cylinders on and the heads, and roll it around to the other side, and it is totally safe and secure. Stick the pin back in, and this thing is, I'm super impressed. This is a really solid unit. Very nice, very safe, super convenient, folds up for the wintertime or whenever you're not using it. I just couldn't be happier. So I think that's about it, guys. There will be a link in the description. Check it out. If you're in the market for an engine stand, I would seriously consider looking at this one. It may not be exactly into your needs. Everybody's got different needs, but for my needs as a home mechanic and a weekend warrior, this thing is perfect. So super happy. I think that's going to do it. So please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.